This story is absolute lunacy.
Hit and run that happened in Somerville earlier this week. Robert Quinn now facing several charges stemming from that incident.
I mean, I can't even believe I'm recording this video. It seems just like yesterday. I was making a video on this guy getting traded, and it just seems so strange that we're bringing you a video on this topic.
Charged him with assault and battery, hit and run with property damage, and leaving the scene.
So it's some really gruesome stuff, just a warning. And before we get to the content, we are dropping Madden 24 code giveaways on my Instagram at @TheFlightMike and on my Snapchat story on FlightMikeSnap. We're gonna be doing it each and every day for the next 3 weeks. I know this is probably one of the few items that I know all of my subscribers would want. So make sure you're followed on both, especially Snapchat. Only have like a couple hundred followers there. And now that we get all that out of the way, break! Ladies and gentlemen, the NFL is finally back.
That's impossible!
But I'm gonna admit, the preseason is boring as shit. I mean, when the second stringers and third stringers come out, your boy does tend to fall asleep a little bit. But I found a way to make the preseason all the more interesting. Because ladies and gentlemen, we are back! Posting prize picks on the days that there are significant preseason games, starting from the Hall of Fame game all the way to the Super Bowl. Your boy is going to be making picks on his Instagram story. The picks are free. All you have to do is follow me on Instagram to get them. And if you haven't signed up for prize picks, right now when you use my promo code Mikerophone, you'll double your deposit up to $100. And thank you, Prize Picks, for the sponsorship. Mike check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? My apologies if this video gets out to you guys a little late. I'm currently coming to you guys from Costa Rica. Oftentimes, we unfortunately see incidents in the NFL that are truly strange, and some of us even ponder whether or not this is a cause of CTE. And I know it's very cliche to consistently blame the trauma that a player gets to the head for their erratic behavior. I mean, we've done it for Antonio Brown. A little bit over a year ago, there was an incident of Everson Griffin taking out a weapon as it seemed like he was suffering through some sort of manic episode.
Yo, I'm in my house. He's trying to pop me. I still got clips left. This is my gun, 45 Wilson Combat. Registered to me. I bought all my bullets around town.
And I have a lot of empathy for players like this. Maybe I'm making excuses for these players, but at the time that I'm making this video, we only have a very small amount of information, so I'm gonna do my best to reserve as much judgment as I possibly can. Robert Quinn is an individual that has truly had a very underrated and impressive career. To give you an idea of how crazy this man's longevity is, he was drafted in an NFL draft that featured Cam Newton, who's currently out of the league, AJ Green, who recently retired, Julio Jones, whose future may be trending towards retirement, JJ Watt, who also recently retired and was selected one pick before Mike Pouncey with the 14th overall pick in the NFL draft by the St. Louis Rams. That's how long he's been in the NFL for. Since 2011, Robert Quinn has put together a very underrated career, finishing top 4 in Defensive Player of the Year honors in 2013 when he put together a 19-sack season, following a sophomore season with the Rams where he put together 10.5 sacks, and then following his impressive 19-sack season, he once again put together a season where he had 10.5 sacks. He was truly establishing himself as one of the premier edge rushers in the NFL, and as a result, he signed a huge 6-year contract extension with the Rams following the 2014 season. Now, following this, I don't know if he had an issue with motivation. Once he got his bag, he didn't necessarily care as much, but shortly after, Robert Quinn would go down to single-digit sack production. Maybe he was past his prime, maybe he wasn't motivated, we can't really say for sure. So as a result, the Rams traded him to the Miami Dolphins in 2018, where once again, he would put together a 6.5 sack season, and once it looked like nobody really cared about Robert Quinn's services anymore, once it seemed like he was completely past his prime, the Dallas Cowboys gave him one more opportunity. In his age 29 season, Robert Quinn was able to put together 11.5 sacks. He was able to parlay this into a huge contract with the Chicago Bears, a 5-year, $70 million contract despite just turning 30, something that you don't really see too often in today's NFL. I mean, some of the best players are able to do it. Von Miller was able to do it last offseason with the Buffalo Bills, but that was following a Super Bowl run with the LA Rams. A lot of things have to fall your way in order to achieve this incredible feat of signing a second large contract in your NFL career without being a quarterback or a left tackle or on the offensive line for that matter. Now, Robert Quinn's teammate Khalil Mack on the Chicago Bears would see a lot of double teams, and in the 2021 season, he benefited from this tremendously. One season after only getting 2 sacks on the year, and with his career in jeopardy, Robert Quinn turned back the clock to 2013, giving us an 18.5 sack season, finishing with All-Pro honors and a Pro Bowl. Now, the only thing that seemed missing from Robert Quinn's resume at this point was a Super Bowl, and it seemed like he was on the cusp of receiving that. The Philadelphia Eagles decided to trade a 4th-round pick for Robert Quinn this past year, but unfortunately for Quinn, he wasn't really featured in many games, and he only got 1 sack for the entirety of the season. Now look, man, you could call me bold for saying this. At this point, I think we could all agree Robert Quinn had a very successful NFL career. Is he going to be a Hall of Famer? Probably not. Maybe if he had 1 or 2 more good seasons, maybe if he was a very pivotal role in multiple Super Bowl teams, he would have. But regardless, we're talking about a guy that had tremendous longevity, and on top of that, was able to earn $112 million throughout his entire NFL career. So you would think that he would be able to ride off into the sunset. Maybe he's a little frustrated at the fact that he doesn't really have an NFL contract right now, but we just got an update from Robert Quinn, and it's a truly unfortunate one. According to WCSC TV, NFL star Robert Quinn, a former Dallas Cowboy, was arrested in South Carolina on Friday, TMZ Sports has confirmed. The 33-year-old pass rusher who played for the Eagles and Bears last season was booked in a Dorchester County jail at around 8 a.m. on hit and run and assault charges. Now, attempts to reach police for comment on the arrest were unsuccessful, but according to WCSC TV, Robert Quinn has been accused of crashing into 4 cars, a light post, and a gate, and then leaving the scene during a wild incident in Somerville on Tuesday. Now, you might be thinking,
Mike, it's just a car accident, which is unfortunate. Hopefully nobody got hurt.
But the main part of this isn't necessarily what happened in the car accident, but it's Robert Quinn's bizarre behavior once the unfortunate incident occurred. The outlet reports one witness told them the football player stopped to talk for a brief moment following the wreck before leaving, but was very belligerent. So the assumption is that he may have been under the influence. He kept saying, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'll buy you new cars. I'll buy you new cars. Let's go to the dealership," which is a pretty interesting time to flex considering how he just crashed into 4 cars, but you are talking about a guy that just earned $112 million throughout his career, not necessarily the greatest investment of property. So the witness, who apparently seems to be a woman, said, "I told him to get off of my property, and he proceeded to put his hands on me and slap me not once but twice." When you read this on the official outlet, it says that 1, Robert Quinn turned himself in, but arrest affidavits show that he is charged with 1 count of 3rd-degree assault and battery, 4 counts of hit and run of an unattended vehicle, 1 count of hit and run of an attended vehicle, and 1 count of striking fixtures on or adjacent to the highway. Now, police say that Quinn was driving his truck along Brittendale Road Tuesday when he drove off of the roadway and struck several vehicles. According to the arrest affidavits, a woman was sitting in her car in her driveway when Quinn drove into her vehicle. When she approached him to ask what he was doing, Quinn allegedly offered to buy her a beer and then subsequently grabbed her by the shoulders, stated, "Listen to me," and then struck her with an open hand across the face. I don't mean to laugh at this, it's just when you picture this whole scenario, it's bizarre. I mean, imagine you're just chilling in your car and then drunk Robert Quinn comes through, rams your vehicle, gets out of the vehicle, says, "Hey, you want to grab a drink?" And then when the woman's like, "No, you idiot, you just crashed into my car," he grabs you by the shoulders and is like, "Hey, I need you to listen to me," and then smacks your face. It's truly a wild scene to imagine. Now, it says police say after the alleged assault, Quinn got back into his truck, hit another vehicle, then left the area on foot. And so he's been transported to the Dorchester County Detention Center on Friday Friday, where he remains pending on a bond hearing. Guys, I mean, it doesn't say anywhere here that he was under the influence of alcohol. That's going to be my own assumption here. These are all allegations, of course, but you guys know how I feel about drinking and driving, man, especially after we heard the story of Henry Ruggs, especially after you saw what occurred to Henry Ruggs. I mean, this could have been another scenario. This time he rammed himself into a car with another woman inside the car, and to make things even worse, he got out of the car, offered to buy her a drink, and then smacked her in the face. I don't want to sound holier than thou, but dude, you made $112 million. Why aren't you calling yourself an Uber? Now, thankfully, he could learn from this mistake and no one got hurt. I mean, hopefully the woman didn't get hurt, but I just don't understand the rationale at this point. We're hearing so many stories of athletes continuing to drink and drive, and it's so unnecessary, especially in today's day and age. I personally hope that Robert Quinn gets the help that he needs. I'm really tired of consistently hearing of these stories. Marshawn Lynch thankfully didn't hurt anyone in his scenario. Henry Ruggs' life was altered and ruined forever, and on his conscience will forever remain the fact that he ended a poor young lady's life and affected her family for the rest of their life. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound holier than thou. Hopefully the lovely humans that watch this content can take a lesson from these horrible circumstances and not make the same mistake themselves. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.